Welcome to Mentorship Monday. It's another Monday here in South Florida on the Mentorship Monday podcast. This is on behalf of the Owwll App. So here's the thing. If you don't already have a copy of the Owwll App on your phone, please go and download a copy right now. It's compatible with iPhone as well as Android. And
Did you say the app at the what, the Play Store again? The Apple Play
Yeah,
Store?
I still don't remember the name of that store, by
App
the way.
Store.
It's just the
Is
App
it the
Store.
App Store and the Google is the Play Store, right?
Yeah, I like the Apple Play Store though. That's cute.
I think that two worlds should come together, and that would be their baby, the Google Play Store or the Apple Google Store. Either way,
Imagine it.
download the app, set up an account, and today I am joined with two amazing co-hosts. Domenica,
Hi.
say hello to
Yeah,
everybody.
well, I'm glad to be back.
Excellent. And we have Marisa Cole over here from Devour Chef, who will be joining us, sharing some secrets of the private chef industry, a little bit on what it took to get there. But let's go ahead and let's jump right in, okay? Domenica, why don't you go ahead and ask her a first introductory question to get this going?
Yeah, I want to learn about your journey, and most importantly, I think for the audience, it's important to know how do you go about finding your passion and following it relentlessly, because I think that's what you've done.
Yeah, that's pretty well said. So my journey with my chef business started actually with me going to music school, where I learned a little bit too much about the business of music and decided that I didn't want to do that for my career. So it was kind of like set back to stage one, and had to rethink everything after I finished school. And really was always very passionate about health and wellness and fitness. And I was never really into cooking, honestly.
Really?
And then, but out of absolutely nowhere, one day I made a pie. I just was bored and I decided I'm going to make a pie. And I did, and it was very good.
What
And
kind of pie?
it was an apple pie,
Mm.
but everything from scratch. And it was like from a Meta Givens cookbook, which is like from like Little Ingles, like Little
This
House.
is
on
such like a wholesome story,
Yeah, it
origin
is.
story. Like it started with apple pie.
like Little House on the Prairie style.
I love it.
recipes.
Did you pick
There
the
was-
apples
there
or
was,
did
like,
you buy them
large.
from the store?
I bought them from the store,
Okay.
Whole Foods though.
I was hoping you were going to
Organic.
say went to an apple orchard and I brought a wood bucket with a handle
love it.
and
No orchard.
all right, all right.
So suffice to say that first experience was a little bit. It was very weird because I was never into cooking, but
Like you never cooked in your
I-
life. Like
I
that
never-
was not your thing.
no, I was like, I actually no, never, no
Yeah.
interest, never. My parents didn't cook. My mom would go buy stuff at the deli and then
Sure.
reheat it for dinner.
Sure.
But it gave me like a little confidence boost, and it was something that I was really good at, and I just kind of leaned into that. And the more I got into that, I started learning more and more, and started just baking pies as a little side hustle, sort of. And then I got really bored of making pies because it's limiting.
You were the pie girl.
I was the pie girl of Mill Valley in California, and I'm still to this day.
I love
they
it.
see me, you're
Yeah.
the pie girl, and I'm like, no, I'm more than my pies now.
So how successful were your pies?
They were successful. I mean, I lived across from a dive bar, and I'd go there and I'd wait till people got a little hammered, and I would and I'd bring them samples, and then I'd
I
run
love
home.
it.
I'd charge them $35 a pie, and I'd run home across the street and make the pie, and then I'd bring it back to the bar. And this is like at nighttime
Yeah.
at a bar. So it was sort of a joke for me, but I got really into the whole the cooking thing. And then I had friends that had attended culinary school in New York, and they were encouraging me to go after it and pursue it. And so I started teaching myself how to cook, like really one technique at a time. About a year, I was just like self-taught. I had used my friends like notebooks from his
Yeah.
experience in culinary school, and I just went after it. And
Love
then it sort of became a passion, and it became a more practical approach at making a living, more so than being a singer-songwriter. And so, yeah, I guess I really believe in having a life that you are passionate about and doing things that you love. Otherwise, you get bored, and
Yeah.
I just could never do something normal for work, like clock into a cubicle. I would just set it on fire. I would be self-destructive completely. And I've done that. I mean, there are other things I've done for jobs,
Yeah.
but it's like having something you love to do.
Wait, you've set a cubicle on fire?
No, metaphorically. Like, meaning like just like no, but by doing something you love, you don't feel like you work.
Right.
So
right.
I don't feel like I ever work. I get to play in a kitchen, and I get to make people happy and
How many years?
and give them good food. I started in 2010.
Wow.
So,
So 25, 15 years now.
yeah, a long time. I mean,
Well, and in all those years of doing what you do, and it started with simple apple pies. It's such an American
wholesome.
story.
I think it's
like
simple, but
George
it's-
Washington. Didn't he get hit with the apple on the head or
Yeah.
so? Or was that Abraham Lincoln or Ben
I think
Franklin?
so, George Washington.
Okay. Yeah.
no idea.
Apple pie is not that easy to make.
Really not a good one, at least.
Well, I don't know.
Were you making
it was
crumble,
so-
traditional?
That
Was it
time-
was it the kind with the canned apples? With the sauce? I've got
No,
those
it's
before.
gotta be
No,
the
it
apple.
was
No, like if you go to
right.
Publix and buy an apple pie, I sort of it
Yeah,
comes
that's
out of
what
the
they
big.
use. That's what
Yeah, it's not like my mom. My mom
Yeah.
would cut the apples. It would
Yeah.
take her all day to
It
make
took
one
me like
apple
8
pie.
hours to make.
I
the
did
apple
cut my
pie.
own apples. I peeled
Did you use
them.
green apples or
I
Granny
used
Smith?
a mix, actually.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
that sounds good. I
No,
like that.
I don't know how crazy you got with the apple pie, but I just have to know this. So when you're making an apple pie, you make a 12-inch or a 16-inch?
Huh?
12-inch?
A 9-inch pie crust.
Okay, it was a 9-inch. All right. So did you
Think of a
count?
pizza pie?
Did you count how many apple slices went in?
Never.
That would be interesting though. So
But-
hold on, like to run with this. If you did like 6 green apple slices and 18 red, and then one day switched, right? That
I
would be
don't know.
kind of
I
cool.
don't think it makes.
And then you switch up with brown sugar or monk fruit sugar, or maybe you do a stevia pie.
Ugh.
I'm not ever gonna eat your
Not
pies.
sound good. That sounds horrible.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, very wholesome.
It's quite a
But-
story.
It's just, it was really like organic, and it was
Yeah.
it happened.
It just came to
it was
you.
just like, I think, it was very it was very healing for me personally, because I don't know how deep into my background you want to get,
as
but
deep as you want.
when I was in middle school, I did have an eating disorder, and so food was sort of the enemy for a lot of years, and
Yeah.
so somehow for me, working with food, it was like it just took away it. It made it not the enemy. It wasn't a weapon anymore.
That's beautiful.
And I really, really strongly believe that this is the thing. No, people don't really lean into it. Doctors don't treat it the right way, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's true.
And
It's
so
true.
it just made it like you learn. You have control over it. You get to learn about food as fuel, and as fuel is medicine, and food is what it does for your body in all the good ways. And you don't have to. And it just made it. It was just a healing process for me. So,
That's beautiful.
and you
Well-
can make money at it. So
Here's the thing: you started a business as a private chef, and I know you do a little bit of catering too, but mostly a private chef.
Uh-huh.
Which ultimately, at the end of the day, it boils down to a creative pursuit. That's really what it is. It's creativity. And here's the thing:
100%.
so many creatives out there struggle, and I really mean struggle, to turn their passion into a business. So what can you tell the audience? Like, share a lesson or something you learned along the way about branding or marketing that helped you turn your talent into a thriving business. Like, what's 1 or 2 nuggets you're willing to share?
Turning your passion into a business.
You did it.
When
living proof.
was the first moment that you realized this is what I'm gonna do? full
When
time?
it was, like I said, it was very organic. So as I was doing my own little cooking lessons with my friends' books, I was learning. And then my friend, one of my best friends growing up, was going to Italy to study Italian, and was like, "Come with me, let's find a program." So I went to Florence with her, and I studied at this with a program. It's now a big school, but at the time it was just the very first like go around. It was like me and a few other girls in this little kitchen in Italy. So it was I just joined her and was there for 4 months, and it was really very unplanned and spontaneous, and it was where I kind of really found my passion for slow cooking, which is in Italy. You have one little old lady in the back cooking. You know, you might wait a lot longer for your food, but
Right.
it's made with love.
Is there like an age restriction? Like, if you're too young, you can't work in the back. You have to
No,
do
I
all
just mean like stereotypically, like you have like the little old lady in the back. It's the
I know
alla
now, yeah.
manzata, yeah. Anyway, so and once I came back from there, I kind of just dove right in. Like I'm someone that doesn't really think a whole lot about. I mean, I act from my gut, whether it's good or not. I just kind of go, and if it feels right, I go. So I dove right in, and I started working as a stage or an intern at like some of the top restaurants in San Francisco, and would go home crying every day because they were all men, and they would scream at me when I got there. They would scream at me during the shift, and I was just like, this is not for me working in that environment. And it's and you don't know who you're cooking for. So I went immediately and was like, all right, I'm going to do the private chef thing. I get to make my own hours.
Yeah.
You get to know who you're working with. You get to build a relationship with them, and you make more money. I mean, that was kind of the time when a lot of restaurant chefs were actually leaving and going to be a private chef in that time period. And it just sort of happened like organically. Like my mom was my biggest cheerleader, told everyone that would listen about me, and sent me clients because she worked for Hermes, which is, very large, very luxurious company. So I did a lot of events and got clients from that world. But I just really dove in with no knowledge of business and no knowledge of marketing, and just was like purely just me.
Yeah.
And that's what my biggest thing is. If you have a passion and you want to make it into a business, obviously make sure it's a skill or a product or service someone needs. And luckily people need food, and they always need food. That's never going to go away. But also, I guess what I love most about being a chef is that I get to help people. And so that part of it is what really feeds me. Not that I'm like the gluttonous chef that eats a bunch of food. I more prefer to cooking for others. It makes me feel very good. And
It's like one of your love languages.
and nourishing them. Exactly.
I love that. But going back, I really like that you said that you trusted your intuition and you went with your first gut, because that seems to be a pattern among successful people. And I really like that. I was watching an interview with Jeff Bezos, and he said it's better to make fast decisions and fail quickly than prolong decisions and take longer to, take action. So the fact that you trusted your gut, I think that's number one. You should always follow your intuition, and that's usually always right, and something that I'm continuously learning. But also make fast decisions and be willing to fail quickly.
That's really well said too, because there was an element of failure. My very first family I worked for, I think I wound up losing money because I was bringing them flowers and I was trying, above and beyond trying to please them. And then I realized like, they're not paying me enough because I didn't know what to ask
But
for.
partly that's what makes you good at what you do, by the way, just so you know, is the fact that you're a giver and you want to make sure that your client is taken care of. And now, you learned in that situation, obviously, to their loss. But again, let's just make an important parallel here. In business, regardless of what you do, the one who gives the most usually has the most opportunities because it's pure. You're coming from the heart. You genuinely want to see your client enjoy the service you are providing and get the benefit from it.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
And,
But not every service provider is like that. They have
course.
taker mindsets, and taker mindsets, they don't last.
Yeah, especially here in South Florida.
Oh,
Hello.
yeah.
To be honest with you, as a business owner,
Yeah.
there's a lot of ways I could have structured my company that would be a lot more lucrative for financial gain, and for growth purposes. But for me, I like that. I've had clients that are going through chemo. I've had clients that want to lose weight. I've had people that have like Lyme disease, have debilitating physical ailments. And I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a dietitian, but I have a lot of knowledge about those areas. And I loved that I got to use my skill set and my business offerings to help them lose weight, to feel better, to get through chemotherapy. And that to me is like, there's not really much of a better feeling than being able to do something like that. And also make money at it. Like it's a living. It's not I'm not living in a box. Like I'm good. But it's also very creative for me. So when I do catering, there's like another aspect of it where I get the one-off dinner parties where I get to go all out and be very creative on my menus and do floral design and get to plan decor, which also really feeds the artist in me. So, like you said, going with your first instinct, it was kind of that, but it also like, I know that deep inside, I knew I couldn't do a job or have a career that I was not like just purely passionate about and couldn't always be learning new things because I get very bored very easily.
Yeah.
So with food, hop on a plane, travel to another country, you learn you can learn the same dish in a different way just traveling through Italy. It's just like you can always be learning more, and that's what I think why I was comfortable choosing that, because I knew that it was very unlikely for me to just get bored and give up. Um, yeah.
Well, out of curiosity, so with your journey and all the different clients you've worked with, everyone that you've helped and that you've served food to, what are some interesting, say, lessons you've learned along the way as far as psychology goes with regards to, just seeing how people respond to food? Because food is, it's very sensory.
What lessons have I learned from my clients?
Yeah, just from observing people and how food, how they respond to it and react
Food
to
is
it.
love. I think food is love. I think
Yeah.
that um, it is something that. So think about it. So
Uh-huh.
food is something that you can sit down with someone who you don't know, that lives across the world, that speaks a different language, and you guys can share a meal together, and it can connect you, and you guys connect and bond over that experience. Same with music too, actually. Both of these two main parts of my life are, art forms that are very, very universal
Yeah.
and speak to a lot of people. And that really is one thing I learned, is that it's just very simple. Like, people, if you give them food, it's like makes them very happy, especially if they don't like cooking. So then you're taking that burden off the plate. So I've learned that a lot of people hate it. They hate shopping. They hate prepping. And some people, it's like meditation for them. For me, it's that way. And just taking the burden off of people and being able to give them the time back with their families or friends. But I don't know what I've learned from it, like in a psychological way, I guess.
Just understanding how people respond to certain types of food, the way they, react when you serve, just because you see people like what, to your point, what you were saying is with food is it's a bonding activity, but it's also something that people gravitate towards. That's what what's the way I'm trying to explain this is in like a casual way. Cause people don't just eat food for survival anymore. People eat food for pleasure.
Right.
So the thing is
Yeah.
when you're like, for example, like, you're creating menus, we could even take it there. What's the psychology behind creating menus?
Am I being very honest here?
Yeah, let's hear
I
it.
usually make them for me. I usually create them based. I started cooking the way that I like to eat, which is very healthy,
Yeah.
Mediterranean food. But I- seasonality is important. But when I make menus, I'm thinking about, I mean, colors, textures. Uh, I don't like very, very fussy. A lot of chefs will do like performance art when it comes to food, and that's cool. That's definitely, there's a need for that.
Yeah.
But I'm more about like good food done well, done right, like simple
With
food done
taste.
well with a lot of flavor, and also healthy food that's also flavorful. It's not, people don't realize that you can do healthy and have it be delicious.
Totally.
So I really enjoy the parties that I get to do menus for, where it's like a theme party or some kind of creative one. Like I did a gangster like speakeasy party, and I got to make all the dishes like with fun names. Like
Yeah.
I did a pork chop dish that was called "Don't Call Me Chicken," because it was like, like a
I
mob,
like
like
that.
mobster. I did like the kingpin was like a filet mignon with crab stuffed inside of it with like a pink peppercorn sauce. Yeah. So I
Yum.
got to
Yeah.
play on words, like the grapes of wrath salad was kind of like it was like a Waldorf salad, but the book was kind of in that.
Yeah.
It was in like the vein of the speakeasy vibe. So it was super creative. That was fun. I don't get to do that very often though, because you don't have a lot of gangster parties.
Well,
But
do you have like what is called, like I saw this on, I think Hell's Kitchen, it might have been, or one of those like food shows, okay, where they have the judges and in Hell's
Right.
Kitchen, it was Ramsay just running around yelling at people.
As always.
But when he was
He's great.
screaming, he said something to someone, which popped into my head and made me write a question down on this. I remember him calling like a first bite strategy. Every chef needs a first bite strategy, he said, meaning like something you do to your food, no matter what the dish is, what you're serving, that makes people fall in love with it instantly. So do you have a first bite strategy?
I do not have a strategy per se, but
First bite strategy.
the first bite strategy, I mean, is he speaking in terms of like an amuse bouche, like a small, like a tasting, or like what do you put into your food in terms of like flavor, or what does he mean by
I
that?
think it's more of the first taste, like
Yeah, when it hits you.
yeah, like when you eat a dish, it's
I
like
think it's balance. For me,
Mhm.
it's putting I sometimes put my emotion in my food.
So you do have a
I love that.
strategy.
No, I don't. It's more of like just I just
You
just
put
do me.
emotion in the food.
But I think there's
You made it so it's like made with love,
well, it can be love if you're feeling that way, but I
made with
feel
sadness,
well, no, but I feel like there's a lot of
made with anger.
all of the above sometimes. No, I just mean like I know for me, I cook my cooking. I don't it. I guess as far as flavor goes, and the strategy would be have powerful flavor, but keep it balanced. So when they eat that first bite, it's not going to be overpowering, too garlicky, too spicy. Just keep everything really balanced. But also, if you can kind of channel how you're feeling, and just I don't think you even have any control. I think it just happens. However,
Yeah.
whatever's going on in your head at that time kind of pours through into your food.
100%.
Psychologically, energetically, it's 100%.
Energetically, it is.
Yeah,
People
and,
do feel that. It's
Yeah.
you can't it's hard to talk about because you can't necessarily measure it, but it is
I think
real.
you're really distracted and stressed out and anxious. I sometimes feel like that's when I'll make mistakes. That's when I'll like
Right.
Right.
I'm not like in the zone. It doesn't happen often, but
Well,
it has happened once or twice.
coming out of my world a little bit though, on the mindset side, have you ever created a dish specifically with the intention to change someone's mental or emotional state
Um, I've used a dish
or change their mood?
to like make someone fall in love with me, or like
There you go.
I mean that's easy because I mean they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Yeah.
But
true.
no, I'm just joking. I just mean
I think they do actually
think
say
it's
that
true.
though.
I
Yeah.
know, but I mean I think I guess there's a couple dishes that I've done that are really that are very creative that I do use as like an amuse bouche. Like I do a lobster bread pudding with a vanilla chive sauce.
Lobster bread pudding.
Yeah, it's super
Sounds
rich
so
though,
good.
and it's so delicious that you only
Sounds good.
you serve in such a small bite because it's too rich and powerful to like eat more than a few bites. But starting off of an event or a dinner party, it it brings people, it wakes them up. They go like,
it
wow,
sounds like
yeah.
it.
Strong.
Also just doing a dish that's been seen in a different way too, like making a dessert savory or vice versa.
Yeah.
Doing things like that, I feel is a good way to do
I
that.
think that's a good first bite strategy because
Yeah.
it really is like it's an emotional moment when you
Yeah.
taste something and it's so good. You're always going to remember like what that first feeling of ecstasy was like.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you're crafting an experience for someone, like with what you just described, that lobster bread pudding.
Bread pudding.
Yeah, it's like where they almost, it's like they enter a different world.
Yeah.
Yumgasms. Yeah.
Yeah, yumgasm.
I like that.
My little, yeah. I mean, it's that thing when
Did you
everyone
make
goes,
that up?
I did.
I've never heard that before.
Everyone goes silent in the room, and it's really nice when you hear just like people not speaking in a dinner party, and then they're all like, It's like,
Is there I won't even say it.
Stop it.
Yeah. Gonna go down a rabbit hole there. But yumgasms. I think that was coined today
I
on
like that.
Mentorship Monday. Nobody else better use it. Get this trademarked immediately.
Yeah.
well, my business is called Devour, so in your branding strategy, like
Selling yumgasms,
So,
making yumgasms.
I like it. I like it. That's
Yeah.
good though.
This is a family show, so we'll stop there.
Okay.
Amazing. Well, share with everybody what is one of all right, so say for example you had someone who came up to you and said, hey, listen, Marisa, I want to be a chef, I want to follow in your footsteps. What is the first thing you would say that they need to do, considering it's 2025? It's not back when you started 15 years ago.
I don't know. I've had people that I know that have like clients' kids or whatever that have an interest in cooking. I would just tell them I don't recommend or I don't encourage them to go to traditional culinary school unless they want to, because I think there's an element of you sit there in a lot of demo classes, I think, and my experience was learning myself. I got to figure out who I was as a chef, and then obviously I did get some formal training when I was in Italy and also working in kitchens, but I didn't become my teacher. So a lot of teachers that are at culinary, they tell you, and they want, even head chefs want the people that work for them to do things their way, their way, their way. And that's what I didn't like. I'm someone that you tell me to do something, I want to do the opposite. So,
Yeah.
and I would tell someone that really has a passion for it to really pave their own way, whatever feels right to them. If they are someone that needs more guidance from a formal training, then go for it. But if you're someone that wants to go out and get the real world experience, and I was lucky enough to like be able to play around in my kitchen for a year and teach myself, and without working full time. I had the backing of my family. So that was very blessed because it allowed me to really, I just played in the kitchen for half of a day. It was great. I didn't really do much with it. But I taught myself I kind of found my style. And then was able to go get the polish I needed, in the more formal setting. But that's not something everyone can do. But I would say just to do that as much as possible, because you can kind of find your own flavors, your own style, your own way, over just being a carbon copy of what your chef teachers are doing.
Well, what is signature about Devour Chef? Like, so when people think of Devour Chef, what is your secret sauce, your secret, like what type of foods are you well known for? Like you mentioned the healthy.
Mediterranean cuisine. But that goes anything French, Italian, Greek, North African, Middle Eastern, Israeli. But that's pretty much all of those places have a lot of flavor, very healthy, food and flavor profiles. But I would say I didn't really have one that I went for. I had been told by people that I've cooked for that I do great sauces, that I have a lot of flavor in my food, but it's very balanced. And creativity. There's a lot of creativity. I do a lot of dishes where to keep things healthy, I try to make a dish that will fool your mouth into thinking it's like a cauliflower parsnip puree that I make that is kind of like a mashed potato, but it's made with only vegetables. So it's really a healthier version, but it sort of fools your mouth because you think you're eating like a starchy side, but it's just really much, much healthier.
So it has no carbs.
There are carbs in it. There's carbs and
Okay.
vegetables. Yeah.
Cauliflower. Well, low carbs, low.
But it's vegetable. It's not made with like potatoes.
Potato or rice or
Oh, potatoes are just, I think, personally, they're kind of like a negative. There's no
pure white
positive, no
potatoes.
negative. Yeah, it's just like a blah food. But I think that, and also like having my clients have kids, so sneaking in ways for them to eat vegetables. I've gotten creative there, putting broccoli rabe as like a pesto on a pizza, or is this even a side dish, and then they're like gobbling it up, and I'm like, that's broccoli you're eating.
You tell them that, or you just
after
let them
they eat it, after they fall in love with it.
Ah.
Yeah, and so like just I guess that's my style, is to be a little bit outside the box, but still have it be like good.
So you've created creative ways to bring people towards foods they may otherwise have resisted,
and to keep it healthy.
So you're kind of like a food hypnotist. They were never going to touch broccoli ever. They don't eat potatoes ever. But you create something that mimics, and then maybe they move towards.
I've always thought about my relationship with food since the beginning. So I've always been very health-minded myself. So I like to make sure that if I'm going to eat like super healthy food, I want it to be flavorful. And so a lot of the tricks I have stumbled upon are tricks that I maybe used at one point for myself.
Like sleight of mouth.
Sleight of mouth.
Like you hear sleight of hand, they do
Sleight
a
of
card
mouth.
trick, sleight of mouth. Yeah, you think you're eating one thing and then there's something else in there.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart.
Exactly.
I think also that's what makes you memorable and why your clients keep coming back. It's because you go above and beyond, number one, and you step out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, and I've learned it's been quite a lot of years. I've learned that at first I was frustrating because I would not draw the right kind of clients, but over time, like I started to attract the kind of clients that liked me, because there are a lot of very high net worth families that I've worked for, or that I've had a chance to work for, that want like the seen and not heard. Like you're the silent, like you're a house servant, and obviously my mouth, and I'm a much bigger personality, and so the clients that I work with, they've always liked me because of me as well. It's personality. The wives want to learn tricks. We chit chat about workouts or like hair stuff or makeup. It's sort of like I'm their little sister sometimes. But and so that's what I've figured is that some clients that have me in their houses they don't hate me because they want someone very, very like very traditional, seen and not heard, and I can do that, but it's just not where I excel.
You excel with the connection, the
Yeah,
relationship.
it's just and it's everything, and then it goes into the food as well. But you're in someone's home, you have to make sure you're comfortable and they're comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've actually turned clients down because I was not comfortable in their home environment, and
No, that's a big
so
deal.
important. It's so important.
Yeah.
You don't need everybody as your client.
that is 100% true.
You do not need everybody as your client. And that's kind of going back to, as a business owner, do you love yourself enough? Do you respect yourself enough to put yourself above the money and to not settle for anything less you deserve?
It took me a long time to get to that place.
think
At
it takes
first,
all
it
of
was not
us.
that way. But over the years, yeah, I just I'd rather get a good night's sleep than go work for someone that I'm gonna be uncomfortable with, or
Right.
or for less money that I want
And
to.
I think the universe always shows you again and again when you do take those clients, those lessons to why you shouldn't even have accepted those at first, because
Yeah.
it never ends up right.
No,
True.
there's always a lesson.
There's
Well,
always a lesson.
please let's hear about a lesson. Share a lesson. What is for lack of a description, what's the wackiest client you ever had?
Are you able to disclose it?
Yeah.
I had an experience once that was strange. It's definitely the strangest client I've ever. It was a catering dinner party client.
Okay.
And I was there up in the wine country, and I so they were about an hour and a half late to show up at this rental home that I was working at to do a dinner party for it was 4 couples.
Okay.
And they showed up really late, and they were all very intoxicated and let us in the house. All of them disappeared upstairs together. And my server came in with me, and we prepped, started cooking, and got everything ready. And by the time they came down, they were all wearing matching orange onesies, like feetsy pajamas onesies.
Okay. I thought it was going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I did too, but it still might go there. You never know.
No.
Let her finish.
Nope. And it was and they basically sat down, started drinking whatever wine they had opened for themselves, and we started the meal service, and they just ignored us, ignored the food, like we weren't there. And they had hired me to come cook, and it was so strange. I almost felt unsafe in a weird way. So we did wind up leaving early because my server and I were both completely weirded out because they were wearing.
Right.
It was not something
Did they say anything?
They said nothing. They didn't even
eat
touch
the food.
They didn't touch the food. They ignored us.
What in the world?
And it was very weird. And I was
Wow.
just like,
You got paid though, right?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
paid. I got paid. But it was yeah, that was the
You got
weirdest.
the silent treatment.
But it was the onesie. It was like a.
Were they
I don't know.
pretending to
What
be
did they
jail?
order to
I
eat?
don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm
But
curious.
it was like feetsy pajamas. Like, when you're
Yeah.
Yeah. But what was the food? Was the food weird? Were they asking for
it
I
was
don't
irregular.
know,
No, it was
pumpkin, orange? I don't know.
No,
something
I
to match
remember
their
it was
clothes?
harvest. It was harvest time for the winery. So I did a real autumn type of just a regular dinner party. It was
Maple
nothing
and-
weird. And nothing about the thing was weird except for the people that hired me.
Wow.
And they didn't tip us. They never said anything to us. Really, the whole night I was just invisible. And so there are a lot of things that went through my head that night. It was definitely weird and uncomfortable. But other than that, I mean, I've had really great clients, and
Yeah. You're
and
fortunate.
even if I've had clients that moved away that still email me every now and then to see how I'm doing and to thank me, or just
Oh,
really,
I love
I've had
that.
a lot of really positive feedback from my good clients. So
Well, and what's remarkable about you is coming from California. You started in California.
I'm a Cali girl.
You are a Cali
West
girl.
Coast, best
San
coast.
Francisco.
well,
Coming from San Fran to down here in South Florida, this is a whole new
It
market.
is.
You had to hit the reset button, literally.
yeah, it's very different down here, for sure. But it's I get to learn. Honestly, there's a lot of other influence, in the culture here, being so close to South America. You have,
Yeah.
and I'm learning a lot more, and I love that because I feel like
Yeah.
I didn't really use a lot of those flavors I think I went to a market once and I learned like 3 or 4 new like melons and fruits I had never seen in my life, like very tropical type of
Yeah.
things that I can't recall
It's
even
like
the
that
name.
Robert is here in Homestead where,
That's that place there. That's great.
Yeah.
They have stuff. I'm like, I'll try it. I have no idea what it looks like, an alien fruit. But so it's nice. It's broadening my horizons a bit. And, like, you know, the people here are also different. So I'm just trying to like adjust my, you know, strategy, but it's
Different energy, different vibe, different
yeah,
way
but
they
food
do
is food,
things.
right?
That's it. Well, what are some of the challenges you face in your industry, in your business?
Well, there's a lot more competition now, I think. There are a lot more people are doing private chefing over restaurant work because it's more lucrative. You can control your schedule. However, the challenges, I guess, for me are how to, yeah, just how to keep up with all the competition and how to differentiate yourself because it's hard to, on paper, until you taste someone's food, you don't really know how your chef is.
Right.
So I've seen people's websites and looking at, the competition, so to speak. And I'm like, people look great, but then I've met a few people and the food's been
That
blah.
happens.
Subpar.
So, and it looks great. It's like on paper, it's a great option, but so, yeah. So, and that's how do you differentiate yourself in the marketing capacity when you are only able to, when you can't just go feed everyone that is on your
Right.
website. I mean, unless I could eat your site somehow. Like,
Hey, with AI, who
I
knows
don't
what's going to
know.
be happening?
But
That's very
We
true.
could be
yeah,
digitally
so-
printing.
yeah. So, and I think it's just service. And I think that I focus a lot on individuals and like customization and totally bespoke events, and even my regular private chef clients that I see every week, everything is customized for them. So they get whatever they want in whatever
it's
way
creating
they
that
want it.
experience. I think that's so important. And to go back to what you were saying, there is a lot more competition, but I think that applies to every industry.
Yeah.
It's never been harder, but then again, it's never been easier to stand out because we have all these tools readily available to us. And it's not always about being the biggest and the baddest. And some of the biggest people out there in any industry aren't necessarily experts, they're just well known.
That's it.
So I think making a memorable brand, whether you're using all the marketing or not, number one, customer experience, which you're doing already, that sets you apart from
Yeah.
the competition. And to go beyond that, yes, I think creating a presence online as we enter the future of small business era, because we're deviating away from corporate America and more people want to have their own business, are following their passion. It's really important to harness a community online. And it's not about going viral or having millions of followers, but how can I nurture those in my local community and create content that people really want to see? Beautiful, aesthetic, and just showing up as uniquely you.
Yeah. And that can be a little goofy sometimes. So it's sort of
That's part of your
it's-
brand. That's
that's
part of
part
who
of
you
your
are.
brand.
people are always surprised by that.
They like the quirkiness.
They think I'm so serious by my just like the still version
Yeah.
of me is one way. Then it's like I open my mouth and it's definitely
Yeah, you're a
very sweet.
human.
I love it. And people want to see that. People
Yeah.
want to connect to that more than ever now. They really want to not buy from the looks of it, but more of how do you make me feel?
It's about being genuine to me. That's kind of like across the board in my life. It's just about being genuine.
It is about being genuine because
sticking-
we're entering the
All
trust
right, so
recession.
we got to do our call here. So we're calling Stefan.
Stefan or Stefan?
I have no idea.
Hey,
We're
Stefan.
about to find out.
Stefan.
Stefan. But yeah, we're entering the trust recession. So we're entering an era where more and more people aren't trusting who they buy from immediately.
The trust recession.
That's what we're
I
entering
love
right
that.
now. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hold on, guys. We're on the phone. We're live here.
Stefan, hello.
Are you with us?
Are you with us from the other line?
Hey, we kind of heard you. Say something else. Another sign of life.
Yes.
All right. I can hear can you guys hear
a
him
little
better?
bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
He just said
Breaking up a
yes.
little bit.
Well, you're on the show here. You're on the Owwll App Podcast Mentorship Monday. We have you live. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Well, we have a wonderful, wonderful co-host here today, Marisa Cole.
All right.
She's a private chef, and she's been doing this for 15 years. She's worked with clients all across California, Florida, and probably around the world. Yeah.
No, mainly just California and
But do you have any international? We didn't get into that. Like,
not yet.
no. Okay. Well, hey, international.
next.
There you go.
What's next?
Yeah. So,
Well,
what kind of
interesting.
questions do you have for her?
Well, it's a good thing. I actually work with a private chef here with Chef Charisse.
Do you know
So
Chef
it was
Charisse?
Where are
our
you
time
located, Stefan?
Right here in Vancouver,
Oh.
British Columbia.
Wow, that's very cool. Very cold right now, I would imagine.
Literally stepping out of the kitchen. Vancouver is the warmest part of Canada here.
Okay, so
Hands
what is
down.
it, like 30 degrees today? No.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Just kidding.
They're on
A little more than
Celsius,
that,
so that'd
maybe-
be warm.
No, maybe 8 degrees Celsius, 45,
Yeah.
50 Fahrenheit.
Well, that's cool. So you're a
Yeah.
fellow chef?
No, I was lucky enough through a client. I met this chef, and I've been assisting throughout the kitchen. I've been doing this part-time for the last couple of years.
Oh, that's nice. That's fun.
So yes, learned a lot. It's trimmed me up, and it was Nicole Harvey that got me on board here with the Owwll App.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Nicole, all right. So tell us a little. What do you do, Stefan?
Well, at one point I used to be a commercial pilot, and then I had a particular near-death experience, and I found out we're not as a human being, but as a human soul. And I quit my career at the time. I was working in the oil and gas sector. The money was good. I was flying in Toronto, flying the skydivers, got my hours in. I walked away from everything, and I wound up being as a blueprint numerologist, and I was a gifted healer.
A blueprint numerologist. Tell
You
us
just
more
took
about
the
that.
sharpest
That
left. I
just
felt
sounds
like I
so
was in a
cool.
car going down I-95, and the exit came
Yeah.
up, and you're like, "Ah!" We just literally got off the exit.
I
All
love
right.
it.
I love it too.
Yeah.
We've landed.
So, but I'm so
So-
curious about blueprint numerology.
Yeah.
I'm such a hippie, but I'm so into that stuff.
So, I mean, at one point I was kind of naive to it. I mean, I had no freaking clue. But I share with you this on the call. Like, if you go through the Owwll prep or through the Owwll reviews there's a lot of people that are reaching out and they're asking me questions like, hey, Stefan, like what do I do here? And I asked them, said, look, we all show up here. We all volunteer. There's a soul that when we show up here for today, 7 to 8 billion people, we're not here on a picnic. We're coming here to close things up. And unfortunately, this is like a tough school ground. And I'm sharing it in the nicest way because when in my early 30s, I lost a friend to cancer.
Oh my God.
And that was one wake-up call. And there was a few others that started coming through. And I wanted pursuing the career as a commercial pilot, and things were great and follow the checklist. And that was easy. But when the things came real in my life, and then it was like, oh, now what am I going to do?
Right.
You just can't just mask all this stuff in life. And at one point, things became very real. And I found out that when we show up here, whatever's not processed, whatever we don't delete here, we carry that with us to the other side. And all of
Yeah.
us, we've been living the same recycled experience. So my gift here is in the Owwll App is educating people, saying, look, you want to hold on to the shit?
I
You
love
wanna
that.
Go in there and you cut the whole thing. And what makes my work very unique is it was in the last 6 to 7 years, I finally got embodied with my soul. And I took the last 12 or 13 years and I went to town and I cleaned up all the emotional gunk from the 3D and the 4D and I closed it up, all of it. The family entanglements, the family, the culture, the religion, and the soul's many past lifetimes, which is technically 495 lifetimes. It's not to impress upon who's on the call here of what I've done, but what I'm impressing upon is we all go through a thing called an emotional experience. The soul's asking, please do not be stuck by it. And then while we're here, it's to graduate and elevate into the universe.
I love that.
Where did you wait? So what's the source of all of this? Where did this information come from? Because you just shared a lot of details with us. It
Yes.
sounded very specific.
It is
So
very, very specific.
where did these specificities come from? Like who discovered
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, well, not just one person.
Numerology?
There's many people. It's been used in many cultures, many civilizations.
Yeah, it's from the
Yeah.
beginning of time. I mean, it's not a.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and one end of things, it's a matrix construct because time and dates don't exist. But on the other side of things, you weren't born on a specific day and time by accident. And funny enough,
Yes.
me and Jeff here. Jeff, I think you're a 4. I think we went
I'm
over
a
this.
three.
You're a 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're a 3. Me and Jeff
Enneagram
were
or
at no, your life path number.
Oh, I don't know how to do
Okay.
that.
Oh, you don't?
So by
Oh, probably, yeah. I
calculating
feel like I've heard.
your birthday, she needs
Yes.
to calculate. By calculating birthday, you add up all the numbers in your birthday. You come up with a number that's your life path number. So that's what you came to experience and who you're supposed to embody in the world.
You're coming here to attain that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that's the end goal.
So
Most
and it
that's
makes
that's-
sense when you research it. It makes sense. You told me yours aligned really well with yours.
Oh yeah, no, totally. No, I'm just always
So-
curious where people, where their sources,
Yeah,
where they
by all
train
means.
their information. Because no, a lot of the stuff you're talking about, I understand it. I'm very much aware. But again,
Yes.
it all comes from, I'm just wondering what this, like the Mayans,
Yeah,
they have
but-
their versions, the
they
Egyptians.
all
If you read
all have
the book,
different
The
things.
Kabbalion, it goes into a lot of the Hermetic traditions and wisdom of, Asia and Africa and
Everyone's
the Middle
got it.
East, where a lot of it, a lot of it was
Everyone's
written down as opposed to just vocal tradition handed down, through word.
Yes.
So are you
Okay,
down for
I-
me to find out what yours is?
I think you're 81, right?
No, 84.
Yeah,
All right.
84.
So month.
What's the month there?
What's your month?
Who are we
February
talking
9th.
with here? February 9th.
This is Marissa.
year?
Yeah, let's get her life path
Okay,
number.
for Marissa.
Of 80
so
what?
February
4.
So you're
1984.
33. That's a 6. You're a 6. Your life
She's a
path number is
6.
Okay.
I don't know what that
That's-
means.
He's gonna
That's
tell
thumb
you.
that down a bit there. So February 7th or February 9th?
9th.
Nine.
February 9th and the 1984.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have a 22 vibration. So the simplicity of it, the 2, you need to handle the relationships.
Say
The
that again.
oversensitivity, the relationships are everything.
Okay.
The relationships in life are going to either make you or break you.
Well, that's
And you need to have a clear set of
boundaries.
boundaries and a clear set of boundaries and a clear set of limits.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
true.
cannot be pushed around by others, and especially with the oversensitivity of being over emotional.
I'm very sensitive. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Now the 9, you're
super
coming here to
sensitive.
close everything. That means the family, your childhood experiences, the soul saying you've come here multiple times. You need to close everything, and your major challenge with this is going to be dealing with trust. You're coming here to gain back your spiritual gifts, using them without abusing them.
Wow, that's kind of
The
cool.
1984
Use it,
is a
don't abuse it.
22/4, which is a master number. The master number means nothing. You have the potential with awakening it.
And the master
You need
number. Okay.
So you can take whatever you open up with your soul at one point, you can merge it with somebody else's recipe and then take this thing worldwide.
Okay.
Now the destiny is a 33/6. I have the same type destiny. You come here to be the teacher of all teachers.
Oh,
The
Lord.
biggest obstacle is being how well does you or how well who's here is a 33/6, how well do they emotionally express their emotional vulnerability?
And
How
then I'm
well
an-
do they
and then I-
mask
and
things?
then I'm an Aquarius on top of that, so that's
Oh,
a
I
challenge.
knew
Good luck.
it. I knew this was an Aquarius sitting next
So-
to me.
You got an Aquarius setup here. Two
This is the
Aquarius.
tough part.
I know.
This is the tough part.
It's a challenge, but it's not impossible.
Well, it's possible. Everything's possible.
Everything's
Of course.
But the old
Everything's possible.
souls, my niche is stepping in with assisting the old souls, and particularly the master numbers. Because when a master number goes down, you have that 1984. So when a person goes down energetically or they're seeking counsel with someone, then when they go down, they're going to go down 200% deeper in the mess than everybody else.
I might
The
call
destiny-
you for a one-on-one at some point to help
The
you with
33/6, they go
master
down
number.
300% deeper. Meaning that the soul path that you have here, when you go high, you're going to go 300% higher than everybody else. But in the same way, when you go down, you need to be able to clean up whatever's in the bottom roots. And once you clean that out, then you're coming here to be the teacher of all teachers. You're meant to be an outstanding healer with this. You have a lot to accomplish here. Within several months, you can close the whole thing.
damn
and you can
straight.
then you can start pursuing whatever you need to do here.
Wow, thank you. That's so cool. I mean, that's
You're welcome.
a lot of insight and
That is.
yeah. Wow.
You have a lot to accomplish here. You're meant to be as a spiritually gifted lady with this.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Specialized
looks like we're
doctor.
about out of time. It's we're going down
Thank
to
you.
3.
That's fine.
Thanks so
Thanks.
much,
Thank you.
Stefan.
Thanks, Stefan.
All right. That was very insightful. Wow. How'd that make you feel?
I'm a master number.
Your master
No,
number
I mean,
is
it's-
6, yeah.
I do like all that. I mean, I'm really into that kind of stuff.
It makes a lot of sense though, yeah. So it's all about responsibility, love, and service, and you do that already.
Yeah, you're already
Your
falling
pa-
into
you're-
line with
You're
it.
living your path.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And I think I cleaned up a lot of the messy a couple years ago there. But there's
Yeah.
always more growth. Never hurts
Yeah,
to
listen,
like clean up some of the dirt. as you
Yeah.
said.
That's the journey of
That's
life.
part of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is such a spiritual journey and such a self-development journey, right? Because there's
Yeah.
always problems, there's always new things to learn, there's always challenges to overcome, and it's just about how do you navigate towards that to reach your goal and attract better clients and really love and nurture those around
Well,
you.
and here's the thing too. It's like with the spirituality is it's always, it's part of almost all great people have a strong spiritual center within their life. They just simply do,
Yeah.
because you have to recognize that it is part of, it's part of life. It's part of our configuration. It's just part of our existence. But with that being said, is one of the challenges in the world of, you could say, spirituality or spiritual healing. Sometimes people will ignore or not pay attention to the practical steps, or the more, you could say, the pragmatic approaches, and just go right into the full-blown spiritual, when sometimes other work is needed, like alignment. For example, when you have internal challenges inside of you, internal issues, whether it's confidence, self-esteem, you're not able to get clear, things like that, there is obviously always going to be a spiritual component to that. But then that also too, there is an alignment where
Yeah.
people have to get aligned with who they are, the direction they're going, and then simultaneously at the same time continue down that spiritual road while working on that side
Right.
by side. But all too often I see people just go down the rabbit hole to the numerologist, the astrologist, the psychic, you name it, looking
What's
for
wrong with that?
absolutely nothing. That's why they all
It's
say for
real.
entertainment purposes
no.
and small print at the bottom.
There are real ones out
No,
there.
there definitely are. But the thing of it is the work needs to be done. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to grow and they want to reach the next level and sustain the next level, they have to go through the work. Now, they may be getting their spiritual side handled, which is great. However, you have the spiritual realm, you have the physical realm. The physical realm requires physical work. The spiritual realm requires spiritual work. The mental realm requires mental work. So it's getting that clarity of where the work needs to
there.
be focused. Because like I said, if I had a nickel back in the day, bear in mind, when I was 21 years old, I had an astrology company. I was
Oh
one
yeah,
You
you
did?
did. You were on the, you were
So,
in the newspaper.
yeah, that's why I'm sitting here
Oh my
smiling.
god!
That's-
And do people believe you?
You didn't
Oh
know?
yeah, I was
You didn't
selling.
know?
I was selling astrology charts. Are you kidding me? All over.
You're
So-
pretty. You could sell you could sell.
But I wasn't selling. Like back then, you have no idea. I was so into astrology, it wasn't even funny. Like
Yeah,
literally,
I believe that.
I tried to solve, and that was the thing. I never sold in my life. I just exuded passion for what I was into, and it was contagious. So people would catch the passion bug. All right, let's call
Passion.
someone before we go
Passion
deeper into
bug.
my
But
astrology.
yeah, no, that's so true because a lot of people who go down the spirituality rabbit hole just expect God to send miracles from
Yeah,
the above,
and you know what God
then
sends?
they don't do the work. They're just
Exactly. And God did send the miracle. The miracle is if they're listening to this podcast and they just heard us talk about it, this is
I'm
direct
the
from
miracle. I'm
God.
the
You got to
master.
do the walk, and then we got the work, and we have the master sitting right here.
Just kidding.
So,
But even if you're a master, you always have more work to do. There's never any
oh, she's running with this master thing now.
No, but
She's
okay, forget.
like at the end of the day, she's gonna be by herself, and she's got. I got some.
I
work
am
to
the
do.
master.
Gonna make phone calls. By the way, refer to me as Master Marisa.
No, I'm not. It's mistress actually.
Oh, you? See, I told you she's running with it.
Okay. What was I saying?
Ah.
Um.
We have to make a call, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
We got one more call we have to do.
Call Jason.
No, he's like $200 a minute. He's
Oh
fancy.
yeah, he is. He's I
don't know. Who do you want to call here? Let's call this guy. Hassani?
That's the guy who does the multiple million different things.
Okay. What about Brittany? I'm sure she's good. Brittany?
Brittany looks nice.
Yeah. Hi, Brittany. Let's give Brittany a call. Special needs, motivational speaker, entrepreneurship.
Telepathy right now.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Ah.
Funny
Without
that.
words.
All right. We got Brittany on?
Yes. How are you?
Good. Brittany, you are on the Owwll Podcast Mentorship Mondays. I am joined here with two amazing hosts, co-hosts. I got Domenica, and I have Marisa Cole as our special guest. She's a private chef, has cooked all throughout California, Florida, United States, and yeah, hopefully you got some questions for her. She's your culinary answer.
I do like how do you do what you do? Do you have a cookbook or
Ooh,
I like
I
that.
like that idea.
Yeah, I do too.
I should create a
You
cookbook
should.
of my recipes, but I think what I've always
Oh,
done
she'd
is I've
kill it.
always read, if I flip
we're
through
gonna talk
someone's
about that.
cookbook, I will get
Yeah, I wanna
inspired
eat
by
that.
it, and then I go off into my own little like creative world and make my own things up.
Jada
but-
would have nothing on your cookbook.
yes,
Who?
are these
Jada.
Who is Jada?
No, who's the one that you
Giada.
Giada, yeah, I'm saying it wrong.
No, well, and I was first learning, I was obsessed with her stuff because obviously it's like we have the same background, cultural background,
She's
and
Italian, right?
yeah, well, she's much more. I'm only like a third. She's she's Italian through and through. Like her whole family is very much. But she's done very well in that department with cookbooks and whatnot. But honestly, I just kind of play in the kitchen and have a knack for flavors and how to like enhance
Yeah.
something, and
That's cool. And do you do like it's almost like I see like a cookbook with like organic foods.
Yeah, that's what I want. We want this.
organic's always good. Yeah, I mean, and I think there's so many cookbooks and so many different, so much of the same out there. I feel like, I don't know. I'd like to see more food as medicine, food as
Yes,
healing.
that's
type
what
of
we
things.
need.
Yeah,
The
That's what we
Devour
need.
book.
There we go.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
Devour
we
book.
gotta make this happen
the
now.
Devour
Yeah, the
book.
Devour book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
your picture on the cover and
Right.
talking about organic, natural
Healing
food.
foods.
And you have your logo, which is orange in the
There we go.
spoon.
A fork.
Yeah.
Fork. Well, it's like a fork spoon, isn't it?
It's a big fork. My logo's fork.
I thought it was one of those round with the forks. You know, like when
No,
you get the fork and the
it's-
spoon and the
it's
same
That's
thing.
fork.
Yeah.
It's the fork.
It's just that's just the logo. Brittany,
Yeah.
sorry.
I like this idea. Honestly, I think you should do it. This
Yeah.
is the sign.
Yeah. And it's gonna be like one of the top best sellers because you can do like smoothies and stuff along with the
Yeah.
recipes as well.
Well, yeah, do juicing and different.
Do you have
things.
juice recipes and
I
smoothie
do
recipes?
have
Ooh,
I do have a few up my sleeves, protein and protein shakes and
Yeah.
and little tasty treats, snacks.
I like the healing foods. I think we need more of
Desserts.
that. There's not enough, and people don't understand the power of food.
It literally is medicine.
Food
and
is for
people
the
go-
brain too,
People go so quickly to pills and
Mhm.
pharmaceuticals where
right?
I think that no one. I mean, there are a lot of people that are very like, homeopathic and that are following that that lead, but you can do a lot to accomplish better health with just what you're eating and put it in your
Mhm.
body. It's
1000%.
I can't cure all diseases, but you can do a lot with changing your diet.
You're totally right.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's not a new idea. This is like
No.
it's a very very old.
Listen, the pharmaceutical industry would have a major hurting put
Luckily
to
they're
it
not a sponsor.
if people started to eat healthier. My dad is a great example. He's 82
Mhm.
years old. He's in better shape than most 40-year-olds. Doesn't take a
Right.
single pill, and the guy's got a 12-pack. It's like,
Are you serious?
Damn.
yeah,
That's
82
wild.
years old. I know.
That's
And
wild.
His entire life, he'll tell you, he's
love it.
he's the most unsocial person on the face of the earth, so he doesn't really talk to people.
Yeah.
But he'll just
That's
tell you, I've been
awesome.
eating healthy and exercising since I was 18 years old. He was doing it before it became cool.
Yeah, and it affects performance as well. The healthier you eat,
That's awesome.
the more mental clarity you'll have, the better decisions you'll make. So I think it's so important, and more than ever, we live in the unhealthiest country in the world. It's just the
Ugh.
truth. Everybody's
Mhm.
basket is full of processed foods, and they have no idea that they're eating fake foods.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
if
Do
people
you-
just need the power,
It's true. It's like you almost want to open up a restaurant, buy a McDonald's, and then buy a pharmaceutical company. So when people get overweight, you can sell them Ozempic out the back or whatever with the weight. Is that the weight drug? Ozempic?
I have no idea.
Neither do
that's
I.
the one. That's the
There-
one.
Is it Ozempic?
It's
Okay,
Ozempic.
okay,
There are
you
a
go.
lot of them now, though. I think, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many, but
Yeah, but
Like I'd sell a bag of sugar and then a diabetes treatment on the back end. It's
isn't
Yeah.
that wild though? That like we're normalizing injecting our own bodies.
oh, so we can eat
Well,
crappy food. That's what
no,
it's all
no.
about.
I think it's so. All right.
I
the
have
the really
one more
the
question.
yeah, go for it.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything that helps with like me as a young adult? I well am currently battling high blood pressure. So and I eat the right foods. Um, you know,
Is it genetic
you
though?
know,
Do you have like is it a genetic
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
so in that it's harder to so I would say if you have high blood pressure, well, a good rule of thumb is that so I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to give you like medical advice, but anti-inflammatory foods are always fantastic, and that is a pretty good uh, uh, like umbrella. Like a lot of people that have various metabolic diseases or whatever, or not heart diseases, but in general. It's a peptide that basically completely is a.
I do have to go. I'm so sorry. I do have to go.
I'm so sorry, Brittany, but just try to keep and you have
For
to
like a
you have to
supplement?
yeah, well, and there's different. I wish I can't think of the name of one. It's BP something, and it's like 173 or something. It's Joe Rogan always talks about it,
I
and
gotcha.
it's but it's great for inflammation, and that's
Mm.
like, and it's good for your mitochondria, and it's all
Like,
over
do
your
you drink
body.
this? Do you drink
No,
this?
no, no, no. I just you inject it.
Oh, makes
But
more
Here's
sense.
the thing
Okay,
though, like the
understood.
you
stuff you're
inject
talking
it, but
about.
also you can take it a sublingually too in a pill. But and it's not medication. These are like it's naturally
Interesting.
occurring.
It does help, but I'll tell you that there's a huge value. I'm sure you guys can see a huge value in just figuring out your diet based on the foods you can buy at the grocery store.
Yeah, the
You
key
know,
is
because some
it's
of these
one word
supplements,
foods. One word foods.
exactly, because some of these supplements,
Real foods.
like for example, like protein bars. Okay, these snack protein bars out there, they're like $4 a pop.
High sugar.
Yeah, and the value to benefit ratio, like it's completely off the charts in the negative way. So like at the end of the day, you can eat something else, like maybe an apple or some
Apple
oatmeal.
pie.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm,
Exactly.
No
that's
apple
so
pie.
Baked by the pie girl over here.
Yeah. No, I think the
Oh,
key is eating the perimeter of the market. That's it. If you don't know about food, don't know about nutrition,
yeah.
keep to the outside of the market, the
That's it.
aisles, not inside. Like you have actual meat, dairy, eggs, cheese, fruit. That's like the rule of thumb. If you don't really know what is
That's
good,
it.
what's bad, just to keep on the perimeter of the grocery
And a
store.
lot of
so
people
smart.
don't know that supplements, guess what? For everybody watching this,
It's
because
not
I've been in
always the way
fitness.
to go, but
Well, no, supplements 9 times out of 10, unless you're going to do them for the rest of your life, the supplement, then why are you even
No,
starting? Because
no,
the
I
benefit
don't
is
agree.
no, that's true. The
If you have
benefits,
goals to meet, if you're doing
well, if you're
hormone
competing,
balance,
if you need, but the body's not all of a sudden going to fix itself with the supplement and then sustain. If you get a benefit from that supplement, you have to keep taking it. It's like if
but if
somebody,
your vitamin D levels are low and you supplement, if you can't get enough vitamin
well, if
D
you
in your
have
diet,
to, yes.
well, it's very
Yes.
simple. Get your
Right.
blood work done. Blood
Yeah.
work done. That's you can't argue with that.
Go out in the sun.
And yeah, but if you can't get it from food itself and you're not achieving that goal,
Yeah.
that's when supplements.
Well, then
come
you
in
need
handy.
that's when the supplement. But a lot of people take
And that's it.
supplements to try to get the edge, like that limitless pill or the working
No,
out.
I
Like
don't
in the
agree.
gym, all the guys are always talking about this
I know.
protein, that creatine, and then I'm like,
They're taking steroids.
and they have some of them
That's
are
not
probably.
good. But
Yeah.
I don't agree. I think that it's only taking it if you need it for certain things that
If
are
you
very
need it.
necessary.
Yeah, if you're
But
but not
trying to get it from food, from Whole Foods,
right.
is ideal. But not everyone can. That's like, it's just not.
Stop eating at
everyone-
McDonald's.
Yeah,
Boycott Chick-fil-A.
Even if you eat healthy. I mean, I had my blood work done recently, and I was surprised. I was low on my D, which is I'm always low on my D, which is weird because I live in Florida. But so you want to. That's something that will drastically improve your sleep, your how you fight off colds and viruses and stuff. Your immune system. I forgot what the word.
There you go.
But
No,
yeah.
it's an important vitamin, no
Anyway.
doubt, no doubt. Well, I think we're at time here.
Yeah, we are.
And then I also think that we had a pretty amazing show here with an amazing guest.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. And why don't, before we go, tell everybody how they can find you on the Owwll app, where they can find you on social media, and if they want to get in touch with you for some private chef work or perhaps, a dinner party or something, tell everybody how to do this.
Well, you can find me on the Owwll app. My Instagram is one way. It's Devour Chef. But the best way to get a hold of me to hire me directly for a service, or to have dinner parties, private chef services, etc., is my website is devourchef.com. And I would be happy to hear from all of you, any of you.
All right, everyone, you
Love
can
it.
reach out to her on the Owwll app. So make sure to download your copy today. Get on. It's very easy to sign up. Just follow the directions and you'll be there. And that's what we got. Any parting words, Domenica, before we call it a wrap?
Bye.
All right. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Have a good
Yeah.
night.